Hello, Perfect Death here, bringing another video for Ragnarok Online Mobile. In this video, I'm just going to cover some of the skills that the Divine Avenger gets, particularly these three skills: Freedom Vow, Strength Vow, and Life Vow. They go down this little branch on the side, and there's three plus a passive. So, the first one on this list is Freedom Vow. This is easily a very good pick, even if you don't go down the rest of the branch. What it does is it gives you immunity to immobilize, petrify, freeze, and stun, and in addition it frees you from being immobilized for 9 seconds. It has a skill cooldown of 18 seconds, so that means that this is going to have 9 seconds of uptime and up to 9 seconds of downtime in between if you were to just constantly try and use this skill. So if you have a second Divine Avenger in your group, then it's possible to keep Freedom Vow up all the time. And this skill, because it has a 5-meter range, covers everybody, it's a very good skill for keeping your party members going. It's also good for just preventing yourself from getting stunned. So if you don't have that 100% stun resistance, then this is a good skill. It still gives you that 9 seconds where you're vulnerable to being stunned, stone cursed, or frozen. But there's a couple of things that this skill doesn't really tell you, and that's sort of what immobilizing is and what being free from immobility means. So in one example of this, there's the stalker skill, Close Confine. That skill will immobilize you. So if you use the skill, it will essentially free you from that. Prior to this skill, the only way to get out of that skill would be relax. I actually don't think I grabbed it on this build, but it's Furious Rage. It'll pop up in here. It's something that you can get from your Aesir Monument, and it's in this adventure skill set, kind of like how you can get Tension Relax, and you can get Furious Rage, which will cure you of Close Confine. Generally, Close Confine can be used fast enough that you have to either be very fast to run away, or they'll just Close Confine you again. So this is a pretty useful way to just make yourself immune to being close confined. But after the 9 seconds, it will you can just get close confined again. It also works with White Imprisonment, the Warlock skill, which puts a box on you, changes your element to Ghost, makes it so you can't be attacked or damaged unless it's a Ghost element attack. And this skill will let you move around. You'll still have White Imprison on you, but you'll be able to run around at least. And also in Thanatos Tower 1st floor, and also on 4th floor, there's some stuff like in 1st floor there's chains that'll randomly it'll pick one person in the 1st floor to chain down, and you can get rid of that chain on you if you walk into fire. But if you don't walk into fire before the chain triggers on you, because it'll give you a prompt, then you're basically stuck, and either they have to bring the boss to you to drop a fire down on you, or one option is you can use Freedom Vow and then the person can run off and jump into the fire or something. The other one is in 4th floor. This is probably a little more useful. Occasionally the boss will essentially chain you or grab you on the ground, and that will prevent you from moving, and the way to fix it is for somebody else in your team to stand next to you, and then that will free you after a few seconds. So in both cases it's sort of useful, but one of the other things is there's sort of a hidden, I'm not sure if it's a bug or something, but when you use a chat room, like if you go here, type this little house button, you can create a chat room. That is often used by people to prevent them from being knocked back. Lolly Ruri, the mini boss, she's pretty notorious for just, she'll constantly emit an aura that knocks people back and stuns them. So this is actually a very good skill against her because it'll prevent you from getting stunned. But if you use a chat room to prevent the knockback, this skill will actually break the knockback immunity that you have in the chat room, because it's probably that the chat room immobilizes you, and this skill breaks the immobilization. So you can just get your whole team blown away if you use Freedom Vow against Lolly in like Oracle Nightmare, for example. So you have to be careful about this skill. In general, it's pretty good in PvP because it'll give you that 9 seconds to do something. And that's about it for this first skill right here. So it's usually a pretty good pick early on. Strength Vow can be a bit tricky. It transfers 50% of your strength to a teammate for 30 seconds. So if you are a strength build and you're partied up with a DPS class that's focused on strength as well, like a Rune Master or a Lightbringer, then this is going to give them potentially like 170 strength, which is big, really strong buff. But if you're like my build right now, where I'm a tank build, I have 88 strength, so I'm only going to give someone 44 strength if I use that. So I generally don't rotate Strength Vow, even though you have to get it level 5 in order to unlock Life Vow. So this is a skill that does still have a half-second fixed cast time on it, and it will last for quite a while, so you can keep reapplying this quite often. So it's not a hard buff to use, and would be definitely good if you're really playing the support role and you want to just maximize one person's damage potential. This is a very effective buff for that. Life Vow, on the other hand, it will give everyone in around you within 5-meter range this buff, which boosts their max HP, and that will last 30 seconds. It will be down for 35 seconds, so there's a 5-second period where people will be without this if you are continuously applying it. This is a very good buff for keeping your teammates alive in a situation where you're expecting them all to take pretty big hits. With Dorums, especially the physical attack build Dorums, their damage can actually scale with their max HP. So with the Life Vow plus this passive, it's about I found it's averages about 30% max HP on Dorums that I've tested this on in other classes, and for Dorum melee build, that's about 15% damage boost. So it's a pretty nice buff for cats in particular. Though this can be even better of an ability if you use it on someone who has very little maximum HP, and that has to do with this formula with the vitality modifier. And this one, this passive, it doesn't give 40 vitality. What it does is it adds 40 vitality to this multiplier here. So instead of a 60% vitality multiplier, it becomes a 100% vitality multiplier. So this is a pretty good skill in certain situations where, let's say you're maybe in Thanatos Tower. I often use it at the very start of the second floor, where right when you trigger the boss just unloads a bunch of stuff that tends to kill people a lot. So I'll usually Life Vow before we initiate the fight. That way some people have a little more HP buffing them. In other situations, it can help if you're going to go into a room. Like I've used this in Echoing Corridor, where if you know you're going to go into another room and there might be some strong enemies on the other side, you can Life Vow, go through the portal. It'll still be up. So this is also fairly good for War of Imperium. If you're jumping into a portal, you can, use this before everybody dives into the portal, so that when they come out the other side, this will still be in effect. They'll have some extra max HP. Hopefully that will let them load in and not die. So these 3 abilities in general, I'd say Freedom Vow, easily your top pick for this, and Life Vow is also a very good pick as well, but you have to get the Strength Vow to get through to it. So if you're short on Hourglass, then you might just want to take the first one and then skip the second one. These 3 skills in general can make the Divine Avenger a very strong support class. It's kind of the theme for it, especially with things like healing and damage reductions. So that'll be it for this video. I'll just keep it to the life vows. There'll be lots to talk about the other skills. So take care.